Steelers Nation, welcome back to the channel. The black and gold are always looking to improve, sharpen their edges, and make moves that bring championship glory back to Pittsburgh. Today, we're diving into some hot trade rumors and speculation that could bring a major star wide receiver into our ranks. But before we jump into it, do me a favor, smash that like button and subscribe to stay up to date on everything Steelers. Your support keeps this channel alive and buzzing with the latest and greatest Steelers news. Alright, let's cut to the chase. If you've been following the Steelers news cycle lately, you know it's been rife with talk about potential wide receiver trades. At times, it feels like every wideout in the league has been linked to Pittsburgh, fueling both excitement and frustration among fans. Brandon Ayuk, the star receiver for the San Francisco 49ers, was nearly wearing the black and gold this season, but just as fans were gearing up for the announcement, the deal fell apart. It was a disappointment that resonated deeply within the Steeler Nation. Now, despite an impressive 6-2 start to the season, whispers and murmurs continue to suggest that the Steelers' offense is not quite there yet. Analysts, fans, and even some insiders agree, we still need a reliable number 2 wide receiver to bolster the attack. With Deontay Johnson traded and George Pickens stepping into the WR1 role, questions about who will consistently play alongside Pickens remain unanswered. Sure, Calvin Austin III and Van Jefferson have shown flashes of promise since Russell Wilson took over the offense, but is that enough for a deep playoff run? Now here's where things get spicy. Enter the rumor involving Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. Steelers Nation, imagine the 2021 Super Bowl MVP catching passes in a Pittsburgh jersey. That would be wild, right? Although the chances were slim and the trade talks eventually cooled, this idea caught the attention of fans and sparked hope for a game-changing addition. Jay Glazer, one of the most connected insiders in the NFL, dropped some insider knowledge during the Fox NFL kickoff. The Steelers, have been making calls. They even called about a month ago to the Rams trying to get a guy like Cooper Kupp. There aren't a lot of big names left. The big names have kind of moved already. Amari Cooper, Davante Adams. But there are teams like the Steelers still looking for a wide receiver. Glazer's words carry weight, especially given his relationship with Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin. This revelation adds fuel to the fire that Pittsburgh's management is serious about fortifying the receiving core. Even though acquiring Kupp seems unlikely now, it proves that Omar Khan and the front office are leaving no stone unturned. One of the big storylines of the 2024 season has been the resurgence of Pittsburgh's offense under Russell Wilson. Since his arrival, the passing game has experienced a rejuvenation that few saw coming. Wilson's chemistry with his targets, his leadership on the field, and his veteran savvy have injected new life into the team. It's no wonder that with Wilson slinging the ball, the push to find an elite wide receiver has intensified. With Arthur Smith calling the plays, the offense has shown glimpses of brilliance. But here's the thing, Steelers Nation, without a true WR2, the team's ceiling might be limited. Sure, Pickens has emerged as a force, but defenses can adjust quickly when there's no significant threat opposite him. The addition of someone like Kupp would have solidified this unit as one of the most dangerous in the league. Here's what I love about General Manager Omar Khan: he's strategic, patient, and never makes a move out of desperation. His approach has been methodical, even as the trade deadline looms. It's easy to get caught up in the hype and pull the trigger on a subpar deal, but that's not how Khan operates. He's playing the long game, looking for a move that not only addresses current needs but also fits the financial and strategic future of the team. But with the trade deadline on November 5th, time is ticking. Khan has been linked to names like Darius Slayton, Kendrick Bourne, and KJ Osborne, all respectable options but not necessarily game-changers. Reports also indicate that the Steelers had the opportunity to explore a trade for Courtland Sutton, one of Wilson's former teammates. While Sutton has been Denver's main offensive weapon, acquiring him seems like a long shot. Still, the most tantalizing name to come up in the rumor mill is DK Metcalf of the Seattle Seahawks. Metcalf and Wilson were an electrifying duo during their time together in Seattle, connecting for 26 touchdowns and nearly 3,000 yards over 3 seasons. If there's a world where Metcalf becomes available, Pittsburgh would be an attractive landing spot due to his past with Wilson. But again, this is a high-risk, high-reward scenario that seems more like a pipe dream than a plausible reality. Let's not forget about the social media recruiter extraordinaire, Cordarrelle Patterson. Yes, Steelers Nation, Patterson has been vocal about his desire to see top-tier talent join the team. He recently took to social media to recruit Metcalf following Seattle's Week 9 loss. It's not the first time he's done this. He also lobbied for Davante Adams earlier in the season. While it's all in good fun and has no real influence on the team's operations, fans appreciate the effort and enthusiasm. Patterson's antics aside, the mere thought of Metcalf reuniting with Wilson brings excitement. Imagine Wilson rolling out, launching one of his trademark deep balls, and Metcalf hauling it in for a 50-yard gain. That's the kind of firepower that could push Pittsburgh deep into the postseason. As the trade deadline approaches, the pool of potential additions shrinks. While big-name trades might be out of the question, there are still solid players who could provide depth and reliability. The team needs to consider what level of impact they're willing to settle for. Do they go all in and make a blockbuster move, or do they find a reliable piece that complements Pickens? If Khan and the front office decide not to make a major splash, the spotlight will fall on the current roster. Calvin Austin III has shown promise, and Van Jefferson has had moments where he's clicked with Wilson. But are those flashes enough? That's the question Khan needs to answer before November 5th. First up, let's talk about where the team stands. The 2024 bye week couldn't have come at a better time. It's the calm before the storm, a moment for Pittsburgh to catch its breath before a punishing stretch kicks off against the 7-2 Washington Commanders in Week 10. The bye has allowed the Steelers to get healthy and reset, which is crucial as we march into the second half of the season. The upcoming games will test every bit of grit, strategy, and depth this roster has to offer. Now, let's shine a light on one of the most exciting developments, Nick Herbig. Ever since he was drafted in the 4th round in 2023, Herbig has been a name that Steelers fans have rallied around. Whether it's the heartfelt video of him getting drafted or the energy he brings to the field, this guy is pure Pittsburgh. Herbig may not have played starter-level snaps, but he's made every single one count. Last season, even with just 191 defensive snaps, he logged 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, and 27 tackles. Impressive, right? This year, in 2024, he's continued to show that he's not just a one-hit wonder, with 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery in only 142 defensive snaps. The catch? A hamstring injury in Week 5 against the Cowboys put him on the sidelines. But now, after some much-needed rest and recovery during the bye week, Herbig is eyeing that Week 10 return. His readiness to take on the Commanders will be determined by how he looks in practice starting Monday. If all goes well, Steelers Nation, we could see our pass-rushing trio, T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig, back in action. And let's be honest, that trio is a quarterback's worst nightmare. Let's not sugarcoat it, T.J. Watt is a generational talent. But even Watt benefits from having a strong supporting cast. The addition of Herbig has given the defense another layer of unpredictability. Alex Highsmith, who secured a 4-year, $68 million extension in 2023, has been living up to those raised expectations, but Herbig's contributions have provided that extra punch that keeps offensive lines guessing. Since Herbig's injury, Watt and Highsmith have shouldered the load admirably, leading the team to 3 straight wins. But getting Herbig back? That's a game changer. The numbers don't lie. In the first half of 2024, Watt, Highsmith, and Herbig combined for 12 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 17 tackles for loss. A healthy Herbig can make that revolving door of pass rushers even more relentless, and with the Commanders on the horizon, the timing couldn't be better. Now let's switch gears and talk about the offensive line, specifically, Zach Frazier. If you've been watching, you know injuries to the O-line have been a headache all season. We're talking about Nate Herbig, Troy Fautanu, and James Daniels being out for the season, plus a handful of other bumps and bruises. Despite this, the team's depth has been a revelation, stepping up to keep the Steelers competitive. Frazier's ankle injury during the Week 6 win over the Raiders initially looked bad, but the bye week has provided him with time to heal. This is massive news for Pittsburgh. Even though Ryan McCullum has stepped in and done a commendable job, there's something about Frazier's play that can't be replicated. His tenacity, his wrestling background, these are qualities that embody the Steelers' spirit. How he looks in practice this week will be key in determining his availability for the Commanders game. Here's where things get even better. A healthy Zach Frazier could mean more success for Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, who have already been tearing it up on the ground. Harris, in particular, is having the best start of his career. He's racked up 322 of his 592 rushing yards in just the last 3 games, all of which were 100-yard performances, a first in his NFL career. With Frazier potentially returning, the O-line's interior will be even stronger, creating more opportunities for the running game to flourish. And we all know, in Pittsburgh, a powerful ground game isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. If the Steelers want to keep the wins coming as they face some of the toughest competition in the league, they'll need to lean on Harris and Warren. Frazier's return would be the linchpin that holds it all together. As the Steelers head into Week 10, this bye week may prove to be the most important part of their season. The health of players like Herbig and Frazier will be under close scrutiny in the days leading up to the game against the Commanders. If they're cleared to play, the team will have an added edge as they push to maintain their winning streak. But even if there are setbacks, one thing has been made clear: depth has been the unsung hero of the Steelers team. That depth has allowed Pittsburgh to navigate injuries and still sit comfortably at 6-2. The hope, though, is to get everyone back on the field and firing on all cylinders as the Steelers enter the most challenging part of their schedule. As we inch closer to the deadline, one thing is clear: the Steelers are serious about competing. They have a strong defense, solid special teams, and an offense that is finally starting to click under Wilson and Smith. Adding a dependable WR2 could be the final piece of the puzzle to make this team a legitimate contender. The only question is whether Khan will find the right deal in time. Steelers Nation, now it's your turn. What do you think about these trade rumors and potential moves? Would you be excited to see someone like DK Metcalf or Cooper Kupp in black and gold, or do you think the team should focus on other areas? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more exclusive Steelers news and analysis. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, go Steelers!